Everyone hear that? And on manufacturing plants in Southeast Asia.
Among my vivid memories, I'll just talk about one. There is a picture somewhere in the slides of the Hong Kong plant that we built. I'm sorry. And if you notice, it was a 12-story plant. Land was very, very dear in Hong Kong, so the plant basically occupied almost all of the land. It was built with a construction that basically said you use the first, what's called the ground floor. You would call it the ground floor, to be a warehouse, so it had a very high ceiling. By the time we got the building finished, we were in the process of building it out. This is Fairchild, Hong Kong. We were in the process of building out the rest of the plant, putting in the elevators, building up the elevator shaft. Because there's no other land, we were storing all the construction materials down in that first ground floor, which had a high ceiling, much higher than any other floors, maybe 14 feet compared to an 8-foot ceiling on the other floors. Included in that was all the asphalt tile or the asphalt to do that. There was a lot of pressure on the contractor because he was falling behind schedule. Unexpectedly, there was a fire on the ground floor. All of that asphalt and asphalt tile caught flames, burned. We were building elevators in the elevator shaft, so on a couple of the floors, the doors were open, flames went out, took out all the ceilings and all of the peripherals on the 2 floors. But the real issue was the flames were intense enough that the beams that were supporting the first floor, basically, they obviously had been damaged. You could see spalling. They were constricted. You could see the beams that were spalling. So the real dilemma we had at that point in time, that floor was the strongest of all the floors. We were going to put all the heavy equipment on that floor. How strong was the residual floor? And how did we test how strong that residual floor was? Well, we finally came up and said we basically were going to have to do some kind of a strain test. So we basically put up a large number of pole strain gauges up to the ceiling everywhere, put a ramp on the front of the building. Remember, this is Hong Kong, so everything is done with bamboo. So we had a ramp going up these 14 feet up to the window on the first floor, and we loaded 6 feet thick of sand across all of the first floor to measure whether there was any deflection or not. And Julie Blank, one of the original founders, was involved because he was the plant engineer. It finally passed. It was successful. The building still stands. But man, just thinking about that episode and the concerns about what damage might have been. That's my one plant story.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Any other questions?